As good as Auburn basketball has been, there still seems to be some doubters out there in the media.
In the world full of podcasts, he's the undisputed heavyweight champion of hot takes, an Auburn sports homer, master of the boog, and message board legend. Get your buttons buttoned and your hats flattened because the Top Button Podcast is about to kick off. And you don't want to miss your courtside seat. Now, here's your host, Charlie 5.
Yes, sir. We're back. It's another episode of the Top Button Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Rush, a.k.a. Charlie 5, and we're ready to get after it. I'm a little bit angry. I'm a little bit mad. I get rustled at the disrespect that Johni Broome gets. I get rustled at the disrespect Auburn gets in basketball. And I know we talk a lot of football on this show, but I think we're going to talk a lot, mostly all basketball today. And I got some clips for you. We're going to break it down. But before we get started, we've got to give a shout out to Uncle Keith's Red Sauce. Today's show is brought to you by Uncle Keith's Red Sauce. Use coupon code TheBarn25 to get 25% off. Just go to UncleKeith'sRedSauce.com. Use coupon code TheBarn25, and we'll talk a little bit more about what Uncle Keith's Red Sauce is a little bit later in the show. But I want to dive in, and this was a couple of nights ago, and I guess I can't let it go. I don't know why I continue to consume this content. I think mainly it's just to get mad. But the Field of 68, Jeff Goodman, there seems to be, and then there's other media members as well, but mainly these. There seems to be, for whatever reason, this feeling when you're talking about Auburn basketball, still like they shouldn't be where they are. They're overachieving. It's a here today, gone tomorrow. Just give it time and they'll fade away. And then it bleeds over into, Johni Broome's not quite be as good as he actually is, or there should be no conversation about him being the player of the year. I'm going to play this clip and then just kind of give you my reaction.
That I think that this is going to end up being the best player of the year race that we've seen since J.J. Redick versus Adam Morrison with Cooper Flagg and Johni Broome. I think we've all kind of leaned towards Cooper as the guy. But as a slow night like this, is this give an opportunity for Johni to kind of like make up a little ground in the in the player of the year conversation?
I mean, I don't think so. I think Cooper is clearly the player of the year. I mean, Johni missed a few games, number one. I mean, just look at everything this dude does. Like, and I know Johni's a good passing big man. I get all that. He's a good defender. Like, Cooper as a freshman, as an 18-year-old, defensively is one of the best players in the country, just on that end of the court. Forget about what he does on the offensive end, which is facilitate, basically play the point for them. You could put him in the post. He can score in the post. He can score in the mid post. He can do whatever you want him to do. He rebounds. He pushes. He wins. He plays hard all the time. He's on the court every possession. Like, again, Johni's great. He's a great runner-up, one of the best runner-ups we're going to see, but Cooper Flagg's the player of the year unless he gets hurt.
Just the blatant disrespect. First of all, what does their age have to do with anything when it comes to player of the year? How does that factor in at all? How old Cooper Flagg is versus how old Johni Broome is, what does that matter? They're playing in the same league. They're playing on the same court. They're playing in the same, it's college basketball. We're not talking about the best freshman, and you don't get bonus points for being a freshman. We're talking about the best player in college basketball. And just like the blatant disgust on his face when it's even suggested that this could be a good player of the year competition, like a good player of the year race, I got to drop my head. I'm in so much disgust. That kind of stuff just really, really drives me crazy. And then, to throw out that, Johni's missed a couple of games. What does that have to do with anything? Players miss games all the time. It's not like he's missed a substantial portion of the season. He's missed like 3 games. And he's typically come back from those injuries and had really, really big games. I want to make sure I'm clear that I don't think this should be Johni Broome is the player of the year, and there's no question about it. I want to make sure that I'm clear about that. Cooper Flagg is fantastic. Cooper Flagg is one of the best players in the country. Cooper Flagg should be in the conversation for player of the year. But to act like Johni Broome just doesn't belong, like Cooper is just head and shoulders above, I mean, statistically, that's just not true. You look at their stats. Cooper averages 19, 7, and 4. That's awesome. Johni averages 18, 10, and 3. So 1 less point per game, 3 more rebounds per game, and 1 less assist as a big man. Cooper handles the ball more. Cooper touches the ball on every single play. He talks about facilitating. Cooper touches the ball on every possession. Johni doesn't. And Johni has 3 assists per game. Johni also, he talked about defense. Oh, he's great. Cooper's great defensively. Johni averages nearly 3 blocks per game. And a steal. Like, Johni is one of the better defensive players in the game. I think at one point in time, he was like Ken Palm's #1 overall player. I got to go back and look at from an analytical perspective. They don't even take bias into effect. They don't even take blue blood bias into effect or anything like that. It's just, again, I do not care if you think Cooper Flagg is the best player in the country. I don't care. I at some point, honestly, I might give him the nod at sometimes, just because he does do a lot of different things really well. But one thing we're totally not even taking into account is the competition these guys are playing. The ACC, this is the worst ACC probably ever. This is probably the worst ACC conference that there's ever been. He's just complete, like Syracuse. They're just completely dominating people by 40 points a game. On the flip side, this is not only the best SEC conference ever. This is maybe the best conference ever. From an analytical perspective, this is one of the best conferences there's ever been. I mean, you're talking about multiple top 25 teams, like not 1 or 2. Hell, you're talking multiple top 10 teams. It's crazy. I mean, you just go look at the AP top 25 in basketball. And you have Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, all in the top 5. Florida in the top 6. Texas A&M's number 10. You have 5 teams in the top 10. Auburn plays one Saturday. Auburn's already beaten one of them. Auburn plays another one twice. Auburn plays Texas A&M in a couple of weeks. And then you look at the ACC and you have Duke. And that is quite literally, you got Maryland all the way back at 18. Make sure I don't miss anybody. That's it for the whole freaking top 25. You have Duke and Maryland for the whole top 25. That's what you got. I'm sorry, Illinois. No, Illinois is Big Ten. I mean, yeah. I mean, I keep going. I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. You're talking about not just he's averaging essentially virtually the same exact stats as Cooper Flagg, but he's also doing it against the toughest competition in the country. And then on top of that, you go back and look at the top 10. They played Duke. Johni had a good game. They played Houston. Johni had a good game. They played Iowa State in the top 10. Johni had the game winner. To act like this isn't a conversation, you're crazy. You're crazy. You're biased, and you just have some sort of again, and we'll talk about it in just a second. But there's just some sort of like mental block that for whatever reason Auburn is over, like they don't deserve to be here. Johni needs his respect. Johni, yes, the guy that opened the show, I think this is one of the better player of the year races in quite some time, because Cooper Flagg is unreal, and what Johni Broome is doing against the competition level he's doing is incredible. I mean, you're talking about just on any given day, you played 12 or 13 quad 1 games, and you've won a vast majority of those. And Johni has been a big part of all those. You're playing the best competition in the country. I just don't understand why we continue to get, or Johni continues to get kind of overlooked when you have these conversations. But I digress. There's one other thing that Jeff Goodman says often that really bothers me that we're going to go into in just a second. But I want to dive more into Uncle Keith's Red Sauce. Make sure you go to UncleKeith'sRedSauce.com. Use coupon code TheBarn25 to take 25% off. You can also find them in almost every Publix in the state of Alabama. Look, if you like salsa, and I love salsa, and you're tired of like the same old, I mean, every store-bought big box salsa tastes the same. You want no preservatives, nothing, no additives, just pure product. You need to try this stuff. It'll really knock your socks off. They got a black top and they got a red top. Red top. I told Keith's a friend of mine, told Keith, hey, red top can't stop. That's the more spicy version. It's spectacular. Another thing, Auburn guy, Auburn product, locally made. This is the guy. There's no better person to support than Keith with Uncle Keith's Red Sauce. So make sure you check it out. If you can't get it online, you can buy it. You can buy it online in multiple packs. If you don't want to get it online, you want to try it in the store first. Again, local Publix, you should be able to find it. Definitely check them out. Show them some love. UncleKeith'sRedSauce.com. Another thing that Goodman and I've heard others say too is it's sort of belittling the talent level at Auburn. Sort of like, and I don't want to be offensive when I say this, but they sort of act like Auburn's a make-a-wish team. Like it seems like Auburn's just a make-a-wish team that's just happy to be there and they can't believe they're there, and eventually the wheels are going to fall off. Like that's the way it feels when people talk about the talent level at Auburn. Auburn's just doing it with a bunch of bums. I mean, honestly, that's the way it feels. And then you actually look at the talent level compared to some of the teams that they love that are media darlings that are talented. I mean, obviously you got Johni Broome, who should be in the conversation for Player of the Year. You got Tahad Pettiford, who could play his way into being maybe a lottery pick next season with more minutes and more experience and sort of increasing his game on the defensive side of the ball. Chad Baker-Mazar is up for the Julius Erving Award as the best small forward in the game. Dylan Cardwell, people would kill to have Dylan Cardwell as their big man off the bench. One of the better defensive big men in the game, and he comes off the bench. Denver Jones, Miles Kelly, they're shooting 40% from three, over 40% from three. What team would not kill to have 2 6'3+ guards shooting over 40% from three? And Denver Jones may be one of the better defenders in the whole of college basketball. Where is this just – and then, heck, Chaney Johnson, in my opinion, may have the most NBA tools of anybody on the team. He still hasn't quite put it all together, but he's got the body, the athletic ability. He can handle the ball. He can shoot from three occasionally. He can get hot from three. And then he's got a little inside game. But the size in general is what makes him a better NBA prospect than maybe anybody on the team. I don't understand that mindset. I don't understand where that comes from. And then they fall in love with, look, Duke is Duke, okay? Duke's always going to have McDonald All-Americans. Duke's always going to have, the five-star kids out of high school. They're always going to have a Cooper Flagg. So I get it. That's fine. If you want to fall in love with Duke's talent level, that's fine. But I keep hearing so much about Alabama's talent level when on the Duke level. And it's like, where's the and they use it as there's no NBA players on Auburn's roster. That's the big knock. Where's the NBA player? Where's the NBA player on Alabama's roster? Is it Dr. Mark Sears, who's been in college for 12, 15 years because nobody wants to take him in the NBA? Is it Cliff Triple Single Omiari, the greatest portal edition in the history of college basketball who can't score? Is that him? Is it I might be driving a LeBaron feline who can't shoot threes, who I probably could shoot a higher clip from three? Oh, man, the NBA has no shortage. The NBA has a shortage of 6'3" guards who can jump high and can't shoot. That fills a void that they really need. Is it Aiden Holloway, the 5'10" two guard? The NBA just has a craving for 5'10" two guards. I'm so tired of this complete disrespect, this complete lack of regard for Auburn's roster, for the talent level, and everything. Johni should be getting roses every single game. This seems like the way that he plays. I do not understand where this comes from. I don't get it. And we're talking mostly offense. The defense to me is what puts Auburn way over the top. I mean, we keep talking about, you hear the media, sort of give the illusion that eventually, the wheels are going to come off this and that with Auburn. The defense, and I said this on yesterday's show, the defense to me is what keeps this team so dominant. Out of all the games you've played, you've only had 3 teams score more points than their season average. Only 3 teams score more points than they score in a game all season. Only 3. Only 4 teams have shot at a higher percentage than their average percentage in a game. Out of 22 games, 21 games? Only 3 teams have gotten more rebounds than their average rebounds in a game. And no team that Auburn's played has had more assists than they average in a game. Auburn denies passing lanes. They get rebounds. They make you earn shots. Every single shot is going to have a hand in your face. They just play relentless on defense. And to me, when you talk about Auburn needing to maybe lose a game to, get back in line, or do you need to lose a game before tournament season? Absolutely not, because of how intense they are on defense. You think you might need to lose to sort of a wake-up call, have a wake-up call, get back in the swing of things. There's no, you can't fake defense. You can't fake intensity. You can't limp through the defensive side of the ball. It's got to be intense. You got to be locked in. There's probably more moving parts on defense than there are on offense when you're talking about switches and all of the things, the way this style of this defense plays. You have to be locked in. You have to be focused. There's no loss that's going to get you more focused to play defense at a higher level than they're playing right now. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of it. I understand we're AP number 1, and it felt like Auburn had to just wait till everybody lost to get that AP number 1 ranking. You got a really tough schedule. So I'm sure after that first loss, it's going to be I told you so. Forget the 13, 14 wins in a row. Forget all the quad 1. Forget the quad 1 record. Forget all that. They lost. Told you so. I'm sure that's what's going to happen. And I'm not ignorant enough to think that Auburn's going to go undefeated. It'd be pretty sick. They could lose this weekend. Florida's a really good team. It'd be hard to imagine that they would lose at home. But one of those 2 road games next week Auburn could easily drop them, because it's college basketball, man. It's a bunch of games. And anything can happen in a one-game scenario. I just want it to be fair. I just want the conversation to be fair. That's it. I think Johni Broome should be in any conversation for Player of the Year. Legitimately, there is a legitimate argument right now. I can make a legitimate argument that what Johni's done this year is more impressive than Cooper Flagg. And I can make an argument that what Cooper Flagg does is more impressive than what Johni Broome does. That means that's a really good race. So you don't drop your head when it's mentioned. You don't scoff. It's a really good race. and I can't wait to see how this thing ends up. So happy Friday. I was a little mad. I had to get some off my chest. Sorry we didn't have any football talk today, but I had to get this off my chest. Had to vent a little bit. And Alabama's roster took some shrapnel, and it's just part of it. So, guys, I really appreciate you listening. Make sure you check out thebarnauburn.com. Take $25 off your annual membership for 2025. Jump in that game thread this weekend. Sign up and jump in that game thread this weekend. I think you'll really like it. And then definitely make sure to check out Uncle Keith's Red Sauce at unclekeithsredsauce.com. Use coupon code TheBarn25 to take 25% off. We'll probably be doing a gift card giveaway here soon for some red sauce as well. So, guys, if you like this video, like it. If you like this channel, subscribe to it. Let me know what you think. Am I overreacting? Am I underreacting? Should I just chill? Probably should just chill. Probably need to just chill. It's Friday. Celebrate. Don't overreact. But I had to go ahead and start it off with a bang. We'll be back again very, very soon. Do a post-game reaction, and then obviously we'll go live on Sunday. So y'all make sure you hit your alarm bell, hit that alert bell so you know when we go live. So, guys, I really appreciate it. Have a great day. It's another episode of the Top Button Podcast. Stay button.
Thanks for listening, and drive home safely.